A week after a gunman killed 17 people at a Florida school, the national debate surrounding gun violence continues swirling. Well, now the president is weighing in.
The president says he has several solutions in mind, including strengthening background checks, increasing mental health services, and a more controversial issue, arming and training teachers.
If you had a teacher who was adept at firearms, they could very well end the attack very quickly.
The president said those words to state and local officials today, including the mayor of Parkland, Florida. That's where the 17 students and teachers were shot and killed last week.
The president also sent out a series of tweets today saying trained teachers could solve the problem instantly without waiting for law enforcement. He says a gun-free school is a magnet for bad people. Well, of course, people are split on this issue of arming teachers. Some people like the idea, others don't. Even some teachers responded to the president's thoughts, saying they don't want to carry a gun. So we checked in with local schools about how they stand on the issue. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley tells us what they have to say.
I first reached out to Spokane Public Schools and asked Communication Director Kevin Morrison if any of the district's teachers have expressed interest in being armed. He said no. Now, I also talked to Freeman Superintendent Randy Russell, who says he has not heard any requests from teachers to arm themselves. Russell says the district is more focused on working with the experts, our local law enforcement, when it comes to gun violence. As for Coeur d'Alene Public Schools, officials were unable to speak for the district, but I talked to President Bruce Twitchell, who represents the local teachers union. Twitchell said he's heard from teachers on both sides of the issue, but the Idaho Education Association's position on arming teachers is maintaining a safer environment free of guns and deadly weapons. Both Washington and Idaho have state laws that make it illegal for anyone, even resource officers, to have a firearm or other deadly weapons on school property. Hence, the gun-free zone signs you see posted outside your schools. But about this time last year, an Idaho school district in Grangeville approved a policy that allows trained teachers and staff to carry guns. At the time, school leaders of Mountain View School District told KREM 2 they have wanted to arm teachers because they're unable to afford school resource officers. Back in 2013, the Lake Pend Oreille School Board in Sandpoint proposed a similar policy, but it didn't have enough support, less than 10% of district teachers, to see it approved. The Spokane Public School District says while its teachers aren't interested in being armed, it says the next step is to focus on training and awareness. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
A deputy on duty at the school during the shooting in Parkland was armed but never went inside the school.
Officials there say Deputy Scott Peterson waited outside the building for about 4 minutes. Instead, the sheriff says this is what he should have done.
Went in, addressed the killer, killed the killer.
That deputy has since resigned.
Well, tomorrow teachers go back to Marjorie Douglas High School for the first time since that shooting last week. Students
are scheduled to return next week. While some are anxious to get back and start that part of the healing process, some parents say they can't fathom their students going back.
Would you go back? Would you be able to go back in there? Would you? Would you be able to step your foot inside that building? Know that 17 people died in there? Nobody would be able to go back in there. Nobody.
So there is a fence around the building with memorials remembering those 17 lives that were lost. And today we hosted a roundtable discussion about school shootings with some of our viewers on Facebook Live.
We wanted to hear your thoughts in the community on how we can cover this topic in a sensitive and informative way. We brought in people from the Inland Northwest who gave their thoughts. During today's conversation, we asked what could the media and America do differently?
We need to honor the victims. We need to honor those who sacrificed their lives to save the children. But we don't need to publicize the coward that decided to hurt them. Of course they're going to be in the news. Of course we're going to know their name, their age, what happened, and all the important political things like how they got their gun and where they stood and if they were like part of the KKK or something like that. But we don't need to say, oh, the poor baby, they were sick. Like, lots of people are sick.
So we should point out we here at KREM choose to limit the amount of times we use the name of the accused shooter so as not to give them any notoriety. You can watch more of that roundtable discussion tomorrow morning on KREM 2 News. That will air tomorrow at 8 a.m.